Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's a Monday dial-in. Talk to Tim's. Joining me this evening, my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford, and the man from Sheffield. How we doing, mate? Mr. Barry Bannan. Good evening. Hope you're well.
Very well, mate. Obviously, always happy to be on the pod. It's been a while, so I'm glad to be back on tonight, seeing your smiling faces again. So, aye, happy, mate.
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. And Ryan, obviously, as Baz picked up on my smiling faces, mate, that can only mean one thing, that Celtic have kept on with the winning momentum. And not only that, as the heading says, Celtic hit Aberdeen for 6. This up-and-coming team for Scotland that was blowing teams away left, right and centre, and all of a sudden they come up against the country's best, and surprise, surprise, they hit an almighty brick wall. But hope you're well, wee man. It's good to see Sean Maloney's been up before we came on. He was at mine as well, as you can see, because I've got a day and all. But hope you had a nice weekend. It's good to see you.
Aye, all good, mate. Like Baz says there, we're smiling, so it's good to obviously come on with Celtic win, mate. So good to get Baz's insights again about the game as well, and it's always good to have him on, mate. So aye, all good, mate. That is getting colder now. It was basically -6 at the weekend there, wasn't it? So that is getting cold, but
all of it overall,
aye, but no, looking forward to obviously the final now, a derby final. So that will get the team's mouth watering, mate. Looking forward to that. So aye, good weekend, mate, overall, and hope everybody's all well as well.
Yeah, and we've got some callers in tonight. Hope everyone's well in the comments as well. Got some early ones in, and Jem, even JP, Ryan and Barry, and the chat. Angie's always quite mindful of who else is in the chat as well. Never mind us. Hope everyone is well. Stephen Kennedy, evening JP and Ryan. Obviously missed the memo, Stephen, regarding Barry being on, mate. But there you go. It's all right, don't worry, mate. I'll do it for you. James McCullum, so good they named him twice. Evening, everyone, he says. Hope you're well, James. Plunge McNugget is on again. He said, good evening, fellow Fenians. And about 5 or 6 sixes. Obviously, don't know if he's meant to phone the devil before he came on. I'm not too sure if that's what that means, but good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Chris Murray said, evening, boys in the chat. I hope everyone's good. We're all well, mate. It's good to see you. Big Alan the Dogger. How we doing, mate? He's a wee letter for his mammy. We've not heard from you for months. But I missed the score with us, man. I'm getting a bit worried.
I've not had a permission slip off him, mate, saying he's allowed on yet. So I think he's maybe still in the doghouse, mate.
He's putting it as a minor medical issue. I think he's got lazy bastarditis. He just, what is it they call it? Anal blindness. You just can't see your ass moving today, ain't big man? I'm only kidding. I hope you're well. And yeah, so we'll get right into it. As obviously, Celtic had a massive semi-final yet again for the club at Hampden Park on Saturday night. It was a Saturday night kick-off, 5:30. And little did we all know, mate, that, we were going to witness probably one of the best, if not the best performance, or arguably the best performance of the season so far for us. And a 6-0 rout of Aberdeen, considering that Aberdeen came to Celtic Park just a short period of time ago, should I say, and drew with us 2 each. So, massive step up for that day. And, sincere victors and another final for the club, mate.
It was comfortable. I think in the end, they showed how far they're ahead of Aberdeen. I think that's a true reflection of the two teams. Obviously, media perception can get in the way sometimes, and it's not taking anything away from Aberdeen. I thought they've had an unbelievable start to the season. But when you analyse and look in your actual football people and you look at the game at Parkhead, Celtic should have been out of sight. I see people still talking to this day about Aberdeen in the second half. Celtic had loads of chances in the second half as well. They hit us in the counter. They had the one cleared off the line. But first half, Celtic should have been out of sight. Aberdeen, Celtic probably ropey for 10 minutes. Aberdeen took advantage, scored 2 goals. But looking back at that game at Parkhead, if that was played another 10 times, that game would have been 5 or 6-2 that day. So this was coming. The The only difference this time was we were ruthless in front of goal. And I think the back four, when called upon, were brilliant, considering it's the first time that back four's probably been played together this season. I thought they were outstanding. Really, really made it look easy. You've seen Celtic at times control games the way they did on Saturday, but gave the odd chance away at the back through a bit of slackness. But you seen none of that this Saturday. I think it was a outstanding performance from goalie to striker, and I think it's like doing a marker now. And I think people will stop this. It's a title race and all that. I think that's went out the window on Saturday with Celtic turning up and doing what they done. What pleased me the most was the manager. He obviously got yellow carded for it, but he wasn't happy with 2 or 3-0 at the time when he got booked, and that shows you that he wanted to go and do what he done on Saturday because he was up for the game that much that he's probably fed up of this. Aberdeen are in a title race, Rangers are in a title race. He's probably fed up of it, and you could see with how animated he was that by getting that yellow card, he wasn't happy with 2 and 3. He wanted to lay a marker down on Saturday, and they done it.
Yeah, mate. Obviously, there's Baz touches on there, Ryan, about Brendan Rodgers not being happy, Celtic giving the ball away. There's actually just as we started there, some breaking news coming in about Brendan Rodgers. Actually, this is kind of sad to hear, but apparently Brendan's picked up an injury during that fall, and he's doubtful whether he's actually going to bet the game tomorrow. Apparently he's got the same pain in his arse as Big Alan, so we wait to see the rest of the diagnosis, but early diagnosis doesn't look good apparently. But no, as Baz says there, mate, it's a very convincing victory for the club, mate, and obviously an even more convincing performance.
Celtic blowing him away, JP. I thought the first 5-10 minutes were a wee bit stuffy, but once we get the first goal, it was it done. It was game's a bogey. I'm similar to Baz in the game at Celtic Park. I was at the game myself, and I said to you after the game, and I don't know where this thing came about that Aberdeen were good. They were all right, but it was due to Liam Scales' mistake, and then the other one was another mistake. It was 2 mistakes that caused it. It wasn't Aberdeen were brilliant. Don't get me wrong, the ball from McGrath was brilliant, but if Scales is merely aware than a man, that's not happening. So, and I think that's the reason why he wasn't playing yesterday. Because I know the man just talking about speed and a bit more speed, but the reason he wasn't playing is because obviously that mistake was in his mind. And I'm agreeing with Baz as well and yourself that I thought the back line was tremendous. Alex Faye is definitely, for me, becoming that first choice now. Greg Taylor's been a great servant, but it's up to Alex Faye now to keep that position. Greg Taylor to fight for his place, and Trusty really good on that natural side. I thought against Aberdeen and at Celtic Park, he was a wee bit, I wasn't sure about him, but now he's switched to that natural side. He's very good. The difference Carter Vickers makes is phenomenal as well. Solid, just an absolute rock at the back. Alistair Johnson, machine. I don't know if there's murmurs about a new contract for him, but I've been maybe trying to tie him down because the way he's played, he's going to have his suitors, and who knows how much they're going to get a bid for him, because he has an asterisk at a high level. He plays in Euros and World Cups and stuff, so he'll have his suitors. But overall, the performance was amazing. It could have been 7, 8, 9. It could have been probably anything Celtic wanted, and quite a good thing that Baz says there. Obviously, I didn't really know at the time why he kicked the ball. I just thought he was kicking the ball away and he slipped. It was known to him home, seen the highlights and stuff, and I was like, all right, I didn't realise it was because he was wanting a bit more. He wasn't happy with the game, and it just shows you that you're 2-3 up front, etc., and the man just still wanting more off you. And I think that's just standards, JP. I think that's Baz obviously knows himself with playing at the level he's playing at, that even though you're still 2-3, you need to still keep going. And for me, I sometimes when you go 3-0 up at half time, you might almost score another goal. The fact we just were ruthless, and Maeda was keep going and Kuhn was keep going, and hope for that's a good omen for the rest of the season, and hope for tomorrow as well, because that's fighting, the pace, the movement, and I think that's take away St Johnstone. That's probably the best performance of the season in terms of scoreline, anyway.
Yeah, it's time to bring in their first caller of the evening, and it is indeed the man who seems to kind of get a slot very often. People say he's a Baz. This is probably the first time you're going to get to meet this guy, but people say he's a dead ringer for Graham Souness, mate. I'll let you obviously be the judge of that yourself, but he likes to, a guy that looks like Graham Souness phoning in and Celtic podcasts. I don't know what the score is, but he's a, we know he, well, at least we think he is a good Celtic man. He keeps telling us this, but aye, I don't know if it's the old Harry Enfield pals and Corey the Tash and the beard that he probably had 4 years ago or whatever he's still got that gives us the Graham Souness Ian Rush look. But here he is, the man himself, Mr. Francis Lester. Good evening, Francis. How are you?
You're getting cheekier every week, son. Actually, earlier on, I thought I clicked on the wrong link when you said, I thought it was on the 10:30 show when you said.
Did you start seeing all the pop-up adverts on that coming up there?
Oh, no.
You getting all excited?
That's how Alan's no here. He's had a bit of trouble, you know what I mean?
Big Alan's in trouble with the internet company, apparently.
Ryan's got his jumper on. It's not 10:30 yet.
That's a good point, actually. Aye.
How are you, Francis? It's good to see you. I hope you had a nice weekend.
I'm good, mate. Yeah. A great weekend. That was excellent on Saturday, you know.
Tremendous.
Really enjoyed it. I'm just thought, my point tonight for you guys is, do you think we'll go with the exact same team tomorrow night as we did on Saturday?
Well, Baz, I'll put that one to you first, mate.
I think the only change that I probably could see coming in is Adam Ida for Kyogo, maybe. I think with how Ida done in Atlanta, I think the start of the game, he grew into the game, got us up the park, took a bit of pressure off. I'm not saying that being the way the game will go tomorrow, but I think there is going to be times where we're going to need that focal point up front when we're probably camped in for periods of the game. Hopefully we're no, but we've got to respect it. We've got to respect them, show them the respect that they're due. And I think Kyogo, he obviously got his goal on Saturday and his confidence will be high, but I think after the last Champions League game that I think he'll start tomorrow.
Ryan, I think that's a good point for Baz, because I think a lot of Celtic fans are probably thinking along the lines of, you know, why change it? You go the same way, but a lot of Celtic fans, just as Baz says, you know, the level of opponent slightly different in the way they play, but the object is still the same. You know, there is going to be serious moments in this where we are going to be behind the ball. I know we're at home and stuff, mate, but it's going to, you know, Brendan's talking about in the presser again, making it harder for them and really trying to bring intensity to the game in our own way. And a way for us to do that is similar to maybe, you know, as Baz just says, we had Amida, and I think that could be a big surprise if that does happen for myself.
I wouldn't be fooled by how many points they've got, because I think they've got the best defensive record in Germany at the moment.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
About that. The guys up front are dynamite, their own form, so don't be fooled. This is a top team you're playing against in terms of form-wise and the way they're playing. And they've got a good manager who's, I don't think he's been beat after us before, Marco Reus, I'm sure. I think he's unbeaten against us. I don't think he's been beat of us as a manager. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think the best we've had against him is a draw.
Yeah, so that's a good omen for him. I can definitely see Baz's point now, Admi, that's something different to play against. I've not seen them too much Leipzig this year, so in terms of their full games, I don't know how they are physically. I know years ago they had the guy, what was his name? I can't remember. He signed for them, I'm sure he did. The big centre back. When I went to Leipzig and with my old man, and he was dynamite that night. He was unbelievably strong and aggressive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've got somebody like that in that out, but I can see Adam Ida playing. But I do think he'll probably go with the same team, maybe just to keep the continuity and the confidence and the way I'm playing. But it's probably a good. I don't know what you feel, Francis, but it's probably a good dilemma to have either the physical option, or do you go with that option with his movement and his pacing down the channel? So I think you've got probably the best of both worlds, Francis, to pick for.
Yeah, I'm hoping he goes with CCV and Trusty again, because I think we're at the back for that level against a team like them, you know, because they've got a bit of pace up front, and the way Brendan was talking about, you know, the Aberdeen, that a bit of pace, and he actually came out and said, you know, the reason he put Trusty in is because he's got the pace to kind of match the runs that they'll probably make. But I would still play Kyogo up front, because I think our game tomorrow night, I think we'll play it a bit tighter than we normally play at Celtic Park. But I can see us hitting them on the break as well, because we've got load bags of pace ourselves, you know. And with Maeda, the way he's playing, I think you need Kyogo and his speed to get right up front when we do break on them, because I think that's our best chance of getting scoring, maybe even an early goal, you know, as we've done. Don't get me wrong, I think Ida could come on at some point, but I don't know if I would start with him. You know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I can see your point. Obviously, Kyogo definitely brings us an element of pace, doesn't he, Francis? He obviously gives us that, you know, being able to stretch them and go in behind defenders and stuff. And obviously, right now, the man I'm going to be speaking to tomorrow is probably going to give me a better idea of what we're going to be looking at. But if it's guys like Orban and stuff, I can understand where Baz is coming from in terms of having that physical aspect, because these lads are big lads. You know, they're similar to the two boys at Dortmund. You know, the big boy, was it Andre? And was it Slotterbeck? Slotterbeck, yeah. No, was it? What's the big lad that just signed there in the summer?
Signed him for Stuttgart, didn't they? Walter, son.
Yeah. I thought his name was... I thought it was Andre. Anton it was. Anton. I think it was A2. And you saw Kyogo just look... He looked like a wee boy up against the two of them, you know, and the two of them just knew how to step in and marshal Kyogo out. Francis, obviously you've went with the two boys at the back. What is it specifically that you like about the two centre halves? Because when I watched them on Saturday, personally, it was just a case of you're going up against that, mate. How the hell are we going to penetrate that? You know, how are we getting through? Because they look like colossals, don't they? They look like big guys, and it's just the way that they go about it. Is that the same for you, or is it other aspects of the game that you like?
Well, I just think with CCV and Trusty at the back, I just trust the fact that he's playing in his proper position on the left-hand side. I think is definitely the way we should go, you know. And as I said, he has got the pace, you know. I mean, to get back and cover, you know. And I'm also hoping that he still sticks with the Spanish boy at left back as well, because Greg Taylor is still getting up to speed, and I don't think this is a game you can put somebody in that's no back up to 100% match fitness, and especially with the speed of their guys on the break, you know. But I just feel that the way Kuhn and Maeda are playing, and the pace they play it, and Kuhn I thought was excellent on Saturday, and he's doing a lot more of getting beyond, you know, the back four.
Yeah.
I know he cut in for the goal, which was superb, but he's taking more chances on going on the right as well and putting balls into the box. And I just think with Kyogo up front, with his pace, start finding him a bit more, you know. I think we can do some damage ourselves and hopefully keep it tight at the back. It's going to be hard. I still think this is one of our other hardest games. When I seen the draw, I said, you know, between the Italian teams and the two German teams, I thought they'll be the three games. If we can take anything for these games and beat the rest, we'll do okay, you know. So I'm just hoping that we keep it tight at the back, and we can even a 2-1 or a 3-2 or a 1-0. I don't care as long as we win.
Yeah, Baz, obviously Francis named a couple of players there individually, but do you see a change in the team over the last couple of weeks? Do you think the Atalanta game now has gave this group belief that they can actually, you know, really play at a high level and be comfortable doing it? And obviously from that result, I mean, all you need to do is look at Atalanta's results even before and after we've played them. They're winning the games like 2-0, 3-0, 2-0, 3-0, 1-0, 2-0, and it's been a knock-on effect. I think I seen it yesterday. I think they've won about 6 games for we played them, all in all, and they've not lost a goal. So that tells you again, and makes our result look even more impressive now. But In terms of the team itself, can you see a difference in the way they're playing, boys?
Definitely. I think they showed after that Borussia Dortmund by going to Atlanta that they're able to adapt now. Whereas before it was kind of same old, same old. I think going to Atlanta, I know Brendan afterwards said nothing really changed for the Dortmund game, but we could all see there was a massive change for the Atlanta game to the Dortmund game, the way Celtic set up that night. Like we said after that Atlanta game, it's about sometimes swallowing your pride and surrendering the ball and digging in and getting a result, which they done over there. And I think the big thing that they would have took for that was the Celtic fans celebrated that result like it was a win. Maybe as a club, and the manager and the players might have thought, we go and sit in here, our fans are not going to be happy, but the fans are no naive, the fans know football. They were buzzing after the result that night. The point could be massive and come the end of the group stages. So I think they showed that night that they're willing to adapt and sit in and defend really well. So I think we've shown that side of their game by going out there and getting an unbelievable result. But I think going back to Saturday, I think the back four was impressed me a lot. Like I said, I think we've played a lot of games this season and been in control, but also shipped a few chances. I think Saturday they were solid at the back. I think the only chance they had was towards the end when Scales came on, and I think the cross went in and the boys headed it past the post. Apart from that, I can't really remember any chances. I thought the back four were outstanding. And the stuff that they had today, they didn't have today a great deal, but what they had today, they dealt with it comfortable. So I'm really impressed with the back four, and I think that'll be a big part of the game tomorrow, how they defend. Hopefully, like Francis said, it's the same back four. I think it will be the same team, but Comfy, if there is going to be a change, I think it will be the strikers. I can't see anybody else coming out the team. I think they performed that well on Saturday that they all deserve another chance. But I just think the Champions League night, where it's probably no underdogs, but I think it's an even game. I think probably either more suited for me, because I think there's going to be times, like I said, where they're going to press you. They're going to have a lot of the ball. Sometimes you just need that out ball. It could be a hopeless ball aimed up anywhere and to either. Whereas if you're kicking balls up to Kyogo, you're not really going to get a hold of it with the wee man. It's no his strengths. He's got different strengths. I think at times tomorrow there's going to be high press from that Leipzig team, because all the Red Bull teams they're all designed to press high up the park, every one of them. So I just think for the back four, I think they would rather have Adamida up front than Kyogo, because you can play no the greatest of passes just in an area and the big man can get a hold of it, whereas Kyogo's Mary are running in behind. I don't think you're going to get much time tomorrow as a back four to get your head up and pick a pass in behind. So I don't know. I think, like you said, it's harsh on Kyogo if he don't play, but I'm just thinking, from a manager's point of view, maybe you could save Kyogo to the last 30 minutes or the second half if it's not going well. But there's definitely been a change in that Celtic team. It might be the fact that this new signings are settling in. They're starting to hold doing positions now. Alex Valley's playing left back. Trusty's looks as if he's partnering Carter Vickers. So Nicholas Coon's been brilliant this season as well, come into his own. And then you see Hatate at the weekend. I thought he was probably Celtic's best player. I know Maeda got a hat-trick, but I thought Rio Hatate was brilliant, back to his best. So definitely they've been really, really good in the last couple of weeks, and I think that's down to new signings getting a game and settling in well.
Obviously, Francis, just before we let you go, mate, what you're looking for tomorrow from the team?
Just before I say that, I was a bit disappointed that I never got a card off you last Wednesday for my birthday.
I'm just waiting to see you, mate. I was waiting to give you your stumps.
65-year-old and you don't even get a card, Barry, eh?
That's terrible, that, Francis.
I know, man. I'm new. I've got my bus pass and everything. I don't even get a card.
what we haven't told you, we've got Kevin Clancy and John Beaton coming to your house tomorrow to give you all the tales of the world, mate. And by the way, it's took them a fortnight to figure out the bar for you as well.
But, again, I think we've got to start for a position of keeping it tight at the back and keeping and don't give the ball away cheaply. You know what I mean? That was the other thing I thought we'd done really well over in Atlanta. I think if we do that tomorrow night, we keep the control of the ball, you know, and we do get a chance to go through the middle and then lay the passes through to the forwards. I think we could do well, you know. The back four, as I say, I'm like Barry. I thought they were superb on Saturday, and I just feel, we look a lot more secure with those four at the back. As you say, the only chance Aberdeen got was when Scales came on, and again he let the guy get beyond him, and he just put it past the post, and that was a good chance. And if it had only been a goal ahead or even two ahead, that could have put us in a bit of soapy bubble. So it just shows you that I think Trusty's definitely the man for this game besides CCV.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your kind words tonight, Francis, and coming on again and being our first caller, mate. It's good to see you.
Pleasure. Nice to talk to you guys. Right, I'll enjoy the rest.
One, mate.
Cheers, Francis. Take care, mate.
Cheers, Francis. Take care. Bye. Thanks to Francis for calling in yet again. He's a weekly caller, Buzz, so he's keeping up with the trend. We did have a second caller lined up, but I think he's fell asleep on his ring.
He's no answered yet.
He's no messages back at all.
Maybe he's waiting for the 10:30 show link. Maybe that's
maybe it's a ring link. Maybe he's the idea, Francis, and click on the ring one. He's gonna got a pop up or a wee woman popping up on his screen first. There
he's Kaiser, join the link we've sent you, mate.
The link has been sent to you, my friend. You need to click on it. He'll think it's a train link or something. He'll be jumping into Central right now. He'll be jumping Island up in Texas tomorrow. I'm in Scarborough, boys. What's happening?
a jolly boys outing.
So, Ryan, obviously, before we get our second caller this evening, we obviously the lads touching on there about the team growing in confidence from the Atalanta. Can you see the change also?
I think the Dortmund game was a wee bit of I think it was a wee bit of a hard one for them, JP. Because you've seen it, obviously, Ross County took a bit of time to get into the game. But I think they've been ever since the kind of Ross County game in Aberdeen, but to come back for that and then put the performance against Atlanta, I thought was really, really impressive. I didn't expect it. I generally thought we were going to get annihilated. I just didn't think we'd any chance. But that was only on the facts and the evidence from before. It wasn't on, in my heart, I wish we could get a result, go and defend, go and do things right. But your football brain was telling you were going to get beat because all the evidence in the past has showed you that against the teams, if we stick to what we normally do, it's probably going to be a defeat. But all in all, the Atlanta performance, I think, definitely gave them belief. And I think it's kind of put a wee thing on them as well now that there's no excuses now in terms of us finding that we can't compete. You can't compete if you adapt and you put out the right team, you put out the right formation, etc., etc. You work on the right things. But if you go gung-ho like we normally do in Dortmund, that's when it looks like you can't compete. But for me, I think Celtic, they can't compete. It's just about getting the results now. And they've shown now, we all know Slovan Bratislava might not be great, but still a victory in Europe. Go to Atlanta. It's still very positive, mate. So all in all, you can see, I think they're getting fitter as well. I think Baz made a good point of how they're getting to know each other now, the new signings getting in. And I think as much as I know guys will rotate and they will get game time, I think especially the defence, I think you need to keep that as roughly as the defence as you can because you don't want to keep swatting in the route. Taylor, Scales, Ralston. For me, I think that's the best best defence we've got on form and at the present time on ability-wise as well. So I think the defence, I think if striker, like Baz says, the odd midfield can change, but I think the back four's got to stay. But I don't know what you feel on this, Baz. I know Kaiser's got to come in, but I thought Kasper Schmeichel's distribution at the weekend was tremendous. See the wee dink balls, and he does that right away and starting attacks. And there's one in the first or second, I can't remember when it was, but we played a tight pass and he played it into McGregor. He just turned and played it out. If that's Joe Hart, it's gone wide and it's no. I think he's been different class, Michael.
Had that thought, right? But we'll come back to that. If it's all right, can we get the man in? Because we've got a third caller after him and we need to stick to a kind of schedule, lads. I'm sorry.
Mate,
I feel like Gordon Duncan here in the middle of the phone-in show. I really do, but give me a wee second, right? The man himself, here he is, Kaiser. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well.
What's happening, legends?
We're all right, mate. How we go?
Aye, living my best life, mate. Me and the Legion of Coon here, taking over the show. You know what I mean?
A nice wee drop back you've got there, mate. Nice one.
It's nice to finally meet you as well, Barry, my man. I got the list of the rules for the boys. No swearing, no asking you for a tap. So we're on page.
Fire away, mate. Fire away. Swear all you want.
What's on your thoughts?
Nothing, just the build up to this game, how exciting it is. We're forming the lead up to the game. Also, Brendan's squad management, the way he's rotated the players, he's gave them rests at the right time. I think he's took them in and out without really upsetting the apple cart, and he's managed to bring the team back in, and we look really strong heading into this game. I still like the nerves overtake me. The old bum cheeks are going 10p, 5p. 1 minute I think we're going to do it, 5-1. The next minute I'd bite the leg off you for a draw. The next minute I'm dreading the 40th. But the same emotions you go through front to back every game coming up. But really excited about it.
Yeah, I think, as Kaiser says there, Baz, Celtic sometimes, mate, is the best laxative we've ever known. And they can do that to your emotions. But going into this game, mate, you've got to really find. I mean, we're in good form, and obviously we were good form getting into the Dortmund game, and obviously, you know, and then look at how that happened. But I know you touched on with Francis regarding, you know, Celtic getting into Dortmund and then playing at Atalanta was two different things. Do you think that was the game plan? But just after the first couple of minutes, it wasn't implemented, and sometimes that can just happen in football and it gets away from you? Or do you think there was a clear change in a sense that, you know, we set up totally differently and you know, and then that's how we had to defend in that game for long periods. But as Kaiser says there, you kind of don't know what to think with your emotions as well.
No, I think the Atlanta game was completely different. I know the Dortmund game started fast. It was intense. I think we went to Dortmund for it's no a wrong reason, but I think we went to Dortmund thinking we can go there and go toe to toe and win like we do every Saturday in the league, and that was quickly gone because we went toe to toe and tried to attack them, and you seen inside 10 minutes, IP, there were Engels was way up the park. They were breaking on us. They were breaking into our back four, free sometimes because the fullbacks were on as well. And that was in 10 minutes in. And at Atlanta, that never really happened. Like Kuhn was back, Engels was back.
Yeah.
It was a 4-5-1. Even Adam Ida at times was way back in his own half. And when you do that, you've seen the last 20 minutes. It was comfortable in Atlanta, believe it or not. They ran out of ideas. They were crossing the ball out for goal kicks. But that comes for the first 70 minutes of how hard Celtic worked to frustrate them. And then they start going away from what their game plan is because it's no work for 70 minutes and they start doing things that they're not meant to be doing. But I just think Dortmund, we played right into their hands. We tried to go toe-to-toe with them and the game's over and done with before you even get into it. So there was definitely I know he said it wasn't, but from watching the game, it was night and day. Whether that was Brendan no wanting to take the blame for the Dortmund performance, or he was bigging Dortmund up to be better than they were, I don't think there was much difference. I know maybe finishing quality Dortmund on the night were better than Atlanta because Atlanta did have chances, but I don't think between the two teams there's much a difference between the two teams, but for our performance there was a massive difference on the nights.
Ryan, obviously touching on Kaiser's point.
Aye, Celtic. 1 minute you're really nervous and no, right, we've got a big chance here, and then you're after maybe a few minutes you're right, okay, let's get the bleach back out. So no, you've got to be confident at Celtic Park, but you can't be foolish. You're playing against a very good team here, an experienced European outfit for the last few years, experienced manager, been through it all before, so they're coming here, they need to win. They need to win in order to have any chance of really qualifying, unless they have an absolute miracle with the last few games of the campaign. So they're not going to have, let's just say, I don't think they'll have a good homecoming with the media if they don't get a result at Celtic Park. So they'll be coming, I think they'll be coming all gun blazing. And I do think we will have parts of the game. I watched the presser. He did say we will have parts of the game we might be camped in and they will have a lot of possession. I think you will see that. I think they will try and get an early goal and try and silence the Celtic Park crowd. And it's going to be an emotional game. I think up and down. 1 minute you'll be absolutely buzzing. Next minute you'll be, oh no, here we goes. So that's just Celtic for you. That's just European football as well. So, but no, I think it'll be a good game, and I think Baz is right there. I don't know what you think about that, Kaiser, but I do think that we set out totally different. I think the Dortmund game, he tried to go full 3-3 attacking, and then he tried to kind of say it was balanced in the pressure because he knew, sugar, I've set him out the wrong way here. But then he's got to take praise, and so is the team against Atlanta, because Atlanta, the performance was different gravy. And I think Kaiser, that's the way we're going to go for now on, away from home.
I think so. I think that more pragmatic approach obviously paid dividends in Atalanta. Well, Bergamo, he's been a lot tighter at the back, and the double pivot that seemed to drop in, we seemed to learn that from Dortmund. Really schooled there. We went in there like, you don't know how sharp or how good your weapon is until it's tested in the heat of battle. And unfortunately, some warriors find out their sword breaks. But we survived that battle and we came back to fight again. You know what I mean? True weapons are forged in the fire. I think that Dortmund game pounded us and gave us a bit of a reality check. And at the same time, it's sort of steeled and galvanised the squad. They're rebuilding back up slowly. And we're seeing us kicking on and getting better and better. But I don't think I'm wrong in being confident coming into this game. I'll always back Celtic at Celtic Park. I'm an eternal optimist as well. I always pick us to win. It doesn't matter who we're playing, how good they think they are. I've seen Celtic play Barcelona, arguably one of the greatest squad sides ever assembled, and I've seen us beat them. So I never discount Celtic. Discount is at your peril. But I do think this will be a really hard game. As the guys have said, Leipzig are technically very sound, very, very fit. They play football by the numbers. They make their transfers by the numbers. They make sound investments. Yeah, they're going to be an absolute solid team. Under no illusion, the difference in quality and what it would actually take to get a result here tomorrow night. Fireworks on the 5th of November. That's what I'm predicting. Fireworks, hopefully.
Let's hope you're spot on.
In the stadium. No in the stadium. Yeah.
Let's hope you're spot on. Kaiser, what impressed you most about Saturday?
Just what really impressed me the most, right? The thing that impressed me, all the players' performances I thought were amazing, right? But see, when that ball came to Brendan Rodgers and he took a fucking rager, pardon my French, right? And he put the ball away. Having a manager on the sidelines who shows that level of investment in the squad, the frustration, even though we were so far ahead in the game, for him to say, don't let this slide and be angry about it and kick that ball away. And it wasn't the first time that when he fell. He went to do it just before and somebody gathered up the ball and he gathered up his senses and didn't do it. So it's obviously been getting to him that the fact that the squad plays so well and then they can fade and wane out of the game, even in little patches, that's something he wanted to put a stop to, especially against Aberdeen, considering we had led them 2-0, going on 4-0 for the first half and should have closed that game out, but didn't. Allowed them back in, I would say. As much as they played well, we opened the door and allowed that to happen.
Yeah, as Kaiser says there, Baz, obviously Brendan taking a kick at that ball shows a man's frustration. He's a perfectionist. He likes to keep the ball, Celtic to keep intensity going as well. But surely, man, he's got to be contacting Tom Force to find out if the screw hands are mouldies for the next time, as you know.
that Astro at Hampden, it's no joke.
No. Especially when you overwater it, man. But some good points tonight, Kaiser. And thank you very much again for coming on and having a chat with us, mate.
No problem, lads. Thank you for
Cheers,
having
mate.
me.
Take care,
No
mate.
problem, mate. Take care, and I hope
Cheers,
you enjoy
mate.
tomorrow as well, mate. All right.
Hail, hail.
Cheers,
Hail,
mate.
hail.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Just touching on the point that Ryan obviously brought in just before Kaiser came on with us regarding Casper. Some of the wee dinks and stuff, they're very good on the eye, aren't they, Baz? And obviously, he makes it look very effortless.
He's a lovely technician for a goalkeeper. But it's his game awareness is unbelievable. I think there was one to Alistair Johnson that he left really, really late.
Was that the zinc one?
Aye, Aberdeen had pressed really good, and it looks as if he's under pressure and that he's going to have to get to Carter Vickers, but he's basically passing on a bomb if he gets to Carter Vickers, but his vision and awareness to see who'd pressed Carter Vickers to then realise the guys jumped off Johnson to go to Carter Vickers. It was in the second half. It was unbelievable, really. I thought, so I'm watching the game and I'm thinking 2 passes in front of where he's probably going to go, and I was thinking he can't go to Carter Vickers here. He can't because he'd seen it as well. It was unbelievable, really. So not only technically is he very, very good, he sees the press of the other team and knows where our spare man is every time. So that's massive because that buys you possession itself when you've got a goalie like that. Teams come and think, we'll go and press them. They can't be that good. We'll get in their faces, they'll give us the ball back. But when you've got a goalie that good as well, that you're trying to go and press and he's cutting these balls, it's demoralising, and eventually you just have to sit in and defend for the halfway line, because if you keep going and going, there's nothing worse when you try to press a team and they keep getting at it. So eventually you need to change and sit in, and that buys your McGregor time, it buys Hatate time and stuff when teams drop into a low block, and that's what you want, really, because it's hard to beat teams in a low block and break them down, but it's easy for your defence because they're playing in the other team's half, so you're basically just knocking at the door for the rest of the game. And I think that's been a massive difference for last season. Listen, I was one of Joe Hart's biggest fans last season. I thought he was amazing. I thought he probably retired too early. Looking back last season, I thought it was his best season at Celtic. But I never thought I'd have been saying this, but it's definitely looks as if it's an upgrade. Even shot stop, I think, in Bergamo, I know we defended brilliant at times, but he saved us ultimately in Bergamo as well with a few unbelievable saves when they did break us down. So he's been a unbelievable signing. Shot stop, his clean sheets say a lot as well. He's got probably 7 out of 9 clean sheets or something this season. So he's been amazing. He's a leader as well. So he's brought loads to that changing room, and I think we all knew, to be honest, that when we signed him, we're no oblivious to football. We knew that it was a top signing, but given his age and that, you don't know if it's the back end of his career. But I think looking at him now, you can say he's probably got another couple of seasons in him.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's time now for a third caller. Baz, we've got a wee question for you, but we've kept it for after our third and what looks to be our final caller of the evening. And it is the man himself who sponsors the podcast, Mr. Alex Beveridge of AB Entertainment. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well.
Evening, boys. How are we?
Evening, Bev. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Aye. I see you're
How are
obviously
you, Baz? All
buzzing
right?
with your Bumblebee tap on.
Mate, it was that photo you put up the other day in the chat with the new. It's got me excited for a new Bumblebee top next year.
Okay.
I can't wait a year, mate. I cannot wait a year for this top. And we need to talk about next, mate. We need to talk about getting my time slots. There's nothing to talk about now, Francis. And I need to get a hold of Kaiser's. I need to get a hold of Kaiser's card, man. Oh, His words are, honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm like,
He's got the AI into behind him.
Apparently.
AI.
I've got the baby oil at the ready for the half-time show. I've used it all up on him there.
Apparently, he was talking to Graham Spears before he came on. He was giving him some tips.
Oh, fantastic listening to him, honestly. And that picture at the back, the Legion of Coon, that was absolutely fantastic.
Superb. I mean, Johnson, brilliant, man.
But,
superb. He's a good man.
Just carrying on from what we're talking about, lads, how good we were on Saturday. But nobody's mentioned Maeda. I thought Maeda, I know Baz was saying Hatate, but you get that for Hatate week in, week out. I just thought Saturday night Maeda was unplayable. The level that guy goes to run for 90 minutes and probably beyond if he wanted. He probably ran home for Hampden on Saturday. He was probably still had a bit in him, do you know what I mean? But to a man on Saturday, I think that just showed where our level can go to. And I feel that we were pressed with the 2 each game. As Baz says, it's the raid, or Kaiser said, sorry, with the rage in Brendan Rodgers. We've spoke about that all season, boys. It's a different Rodgers this term.
Yeah, he's ruthless, isn't he?
Aye, he is, and I think he wanted to put that marker down with Aberdeen on Saturday night. That, as you say, Jack, it could have been anything between more goals, you know. But
yeah,
it was just good to watch.
Yeah, listen. Obviously, Baz, you love him more than anybody. You sing his praises most of the time. Bev's obviously caught up with the pod as well, and he's acknowledged that nobody's really spoke about Maeda. I think it's a great sign whenever, you know, you're talking about other guys, you know, when he's not even getting a mention yet, and it's probably save the best to last because we're near the end of the show tonight. But Bev is spot on, mate. I thought Maeda was top of the range, and just his whole, I mean, you look at Kyogo's goal. I actually thought he was going to beat his cell as well as a defender, just the way he ran and turned. But today, at the speed that he does it at, he just makes it look totally effortless. And the lad, is it McKenzie? I think it's McKenzie. It's tearing up to try and catch him. He's breathing out his backside. Trying to get, and Maeda's slowing down. And he's blowing out his backside, trying to get near him. He must be an absolute menace to play against. I mean, Baz, you play the game at a very good level still, mate. And surely some of you and the boys must be chatting about him now and again, about the pace he's got and what he, you know, if you were coming up against somebody like that, what would you do? Like, how do you stop a guy like that?
Kick him.
No, well, I've said he's I think he's Celtic's best player. The last 2 seasons, I think every big game, I can't really remember watching a big game and him letting us down. I think he's been Celtic's big game player for 2 seasons now. Champions League games is when you get a real good look at who your best players are, because they're obviously playing at a higher level against better players, playing against stronger, quicker players. And he's been our best player in the Champions League this season. You've seen Dortmund was a frustrating night, but every wee bit of sniff we had was through Maeda, caused their right back problems that night. Broke away a few times in Bergamo, was brilliant at home in the Bratislava game. Gives Rangers nightmares every time he plays against them. So I think I don't think he's underrated because of how hard he works, but I think because he works as hard as he does, it overshadows how good a player he is. He's brilliant. I think what he's getting better at as well. I know he's flashed one behind the goal and at Hampden and Saturday's crossing, but his crossing's been very, very good this season. I think it looks as if he's poked the ball back to the penalty spot a lot of times this season for chances, and I think maybe they've tried to make it easier for him and tell him what you're doing is when you get to the byline, you've got the pace in any fullback, pull it back to that penalty spot if you can. The boys will be there. So, because there's been times where you see him and he gets into good positions and he'll kick it behind for a goal kick, and you think, what's he doing? I've been impressed with his crossing this year. It looks as if he's working on that side of his game, but I don't know what you do to defend against him, to be honest, because he's faster, he's stronger, he'll chase you back. sometimes you get players who just don't go on the one way and just want to attack. And you think, that's all right, I'll run him the other way and he won't follow me. I'll get joy going that other way. But he does everything. So I don't actually know what you can do to stop him, because his attributes are better than everything that the other person can throw him. He's strong, he's quick, he wants to work hard, he wants to chase you back. He's brilliant. And like I said the tatty, but the guy's walked after the match boy, he's got a hat-trick, so he obviously was probably the best player in the park. But like you said, I think we're speaking about other people, because that has become the normal for Daizen Maeda this season. He's been I don't know what his stats are, I don't know how many goals he's scored for us this season, but he's been unbelievable this year. If the season stops to now, he's probably taking all the awards, to be honest. So I think we're speaking about other players because we're no surprised, really, because that's the type of form he's been in all season for us. So, but like you said, Maeda was probably the best player, but you've got Kuhn. I thought Kuhn was brilliant Saturday as well. He gives you a bit something different to what Maeda gives you. It's a good mix. He's technical. He wants to dribble in. He can pick a pass. His pass for Maeda's goals, unbelievable. The reverse pass. His finish as well.
Baz, just while you're chatting there, we've got Peter McGlone in the chat. He's actually put up Maeda's stats. So it's Maeda. He scored 9 goals. He's got 7 assists.
There you go. He's got 16 goal involvements in how many games have we played? 13, 14 maybe?
Yeah.
All in. So that just shows you, like, it's probably better than what he had the whole last season. He's probably up there already with what he was dished out for the whole season last year. So he's been on fire. And you can't know love him as a Celtic fan, because sometimes when you get players who are technically brilliant, they let you down in games, but even in his bad day, you know he's going to be getting everything he can, going the other way. He'll defend for you. He'll work as hard as anybody on the park. So you can't help but love him. And you can see the fans. He's clearly a fan favourite. He's amazing. Doesn't get as much limelight because maybe his English is no great. He's not out there in the public media. Keeps himself his cell, and that's probably why he's loved and adored by the fans as well. He's no your flashy type like your Lewis Palmers or people like that. He just seems down to earth, just goes in, works hard every day, goes in, doesn't care about plaudits or if he's getting hammered. He's just constant with his approach, and he's been. I think he's Celtic's best player right now.
Yeah, a great shout for Baz there, Ryan. Obviously, Bev touching on Maeda as well, and you look at the movement for his goals as well. You look at the one with Kuhn, he's with reverse pass, he gets in front, he's broke the offside line by miles, and he cuts in and he puts the ball beyond the goalkeeper. You then look at his movement and getting in the box at the far post when he knows the ball's coming across. Lovely be back heel for Bernardo. Alistair Johnson running in the cutback, and he's there and he just puts it in the net for his hat-trick. So a combination of different goals for Maeda at the weekend, mate. The other one, I know it just broke to him, but he's got to be there and he's got to be the right place to put it in. But we've not just seen Daizen Maeda running forward, mate. We've seen him chase people. And that's the thing as well. He's an absolute weapon. He's a lethal weapon for Celtic. And he must put the fear of God into people, because if you're no... Nicky Devlin's not the quickest. And he worried him severely on Saturday. James Tavernier, how many times have we saw him really destroy him? There's other, if you're no quick at doing things and you're one of the guys that want to dilly-dally in the ball, the wee man will just eat you alive.
Aye, and to be fair to Nicky Devlin, he's done well this season. Obviously, got himself in the Scotland squad. And I'm probably going to say the squad was picked before the game at the weekend, because Maeda didn't really show him up in a good light, because it was different gravy, Maeda. I'm going to go with Baz. He's a really, really important player for you. It's not just that obviously he's got ability, but it's the energy, the intensity, the work ethic. It's priceless, JP. It's absolutely priceless. You can have all the ability in the world, but if you're not going to be like him and work hard, and that's absolutely priceless, especially European football. Especially maybe the last 10 minutes, you're 1-0 up, put it in the channel, he'll hold it in, he'll get free kicks, no penalties, he'll hold it up, he'll get a foul, he'll be able to put it in the corner. He's an absolute weapon, and I really do think that see the wee small things, like Baz says, I think when he kicks about the park and stuff like that, see if that wasn't in his game, I don't think he'd be here. Because that's parts of his game, it looks ridiculous when it happens, because one minute he's scoring a tap in, and next minute he's hitting the ball away into Janefield. Do you know what I mean? He's brilliant in what he does, and it's priceless for the team. I don't know what you feel on that, Bev, but I think him and Kuhn, unless injuries or small bit of irritation, that's your wingers for the season. Yang and Palmer for me are no good enough. I know Palmer's had some bereavement issues. I get that with family, and that could be playing his mind. But I hope his family and everything's okay, and that can obviously his mental state can be better. Hopefully in the next few weeks as well. But I do feel Palmer and Yang overall, Bev, I don't think they're going to be able to take Celtic forward. James Forrest has come to the end of the year of his career. There's only so much Forrest will be able to do for us. He'll still contribute, but I feel for me right now, Kuhn and Maeda, Bev, they're the guys who go to the jerseys, and I can't see them get out unless it's due to injury, possibly.
I think that's just the level that Rodgers has got these guys at. That it's hard for like Yang and Palmer to get in front of these guys because it won't happen unless due to injury or stuff like that. They're flying now. We're absolutely flying. Our midfield's just frightening. And the way Trusty's starting to settle in with Carter Vickers there, it's just our back four's looking so secure. We were two balanced, left-footed players at the right positions. And then you've got Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnston, another one who's absolutely flying at the moment as well. So I just think all around the park, we've got a great balance. When we're defending, when we're attacking, you know, we're just unstoppable. And I think we keep going like that there's nobody that will touch us. And I really feared in the final how embarrassing it could be if they turn up and play like that. And I don't know if you've watched a part of the game yesterday, but if Rangers or Motherwell, for that fact, was to turn up playing Celtic on that Saturday night, it would have probably been about the same scoreline a game. There's nobody there that can touch us.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, Bev, going into tomorrow, mate, what's your thoughts and feelings, and how you looking towards tomorrow?
I've got to agree with Baz. I wouldn't change anything rather than the striker. I think we need to be wary again. This mob are a good side. You know, they're a really good side. If anything, the Atalanta game has taught us, it's to do what we've done there. Don't go gung-ho just because we're at home. This is our top side. You know, I think he's learned a lot for the Dortmund game, I really do. But I would change Kyogo Ueda just that ball. If there's something that you're in a wee tight space, or just put a big helpless ball up, and hopefully Ueda holds it up and creates something, you know. But that would be my only change. I wouldn't change anything else other than probably a striker.
Good shout. Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Pleasure again, boys.
Cheers, Bev.
Good to see you, mate.
Take care, mate. Enjoy the game, mate.
See you soon.
Cheers,
Enjoy
mate.
the game tomorrow, mate.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later, right?
See you later.
Bye-bye,
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye. That was the last of our 3 calls for this evening, folks. Like I says in the comments, if anybody wants to take part in the dial-in show, you need to message the channel. We've been asking you to do it for weeks, so just send us a message. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can get us in the community section of the YouTube channel also. And that's what the guys that are coming on, that's what's happening. They're messaging the channel and they get directed on how to get on. So, yeah, please follow suit if you want to come on. I did see, I think it was Jerry Lappin in the comments. He did say that he wants to come on. So, like I says, message the channel and we'll look into getting you on. But as there has been a couple of questions just as the lads have been on and chatting with you. First one was from Peter McGlone. He says, can you ask Barry how hard it is to stick to a manager's plan as a professional player? Does it go out the window when the game starts, or do you use all of a clear indication of what's going to happen?
No, we have a game plan, obviously, that you work on through the week. I think the only time it shouldn't really change, the only time it should change is when the manager steps in, whether that's in the game or at half time, and asks for a bit different. But it is hard to stick to it. Like, for instance, we played at the weekend there and obviously lost 6-2. So we went behind 3-1, maybe 10 minutes into the second half. It was one each half time. They got 2 quick penalties, 3-1 up. Sometimes you can panic then and go away from your game plan individually and collectively. No meaning to, but for whatever reason, panic and you start doing things that you're not meant to be doing. So you want to change your game plan for the off, but when a manager steps in through the first half or half time, then you'll change it. And like I said there, if you go behind and you're getting beat quite heavily, then maybe it might change on the part between the boys, whether it's confidence is low or you know what it's like. We've all played at a level, so
Yeah.
sometimes that game plan goes out the window, and it can work sometimes as well. It's not to say that stick to your game plan because you'll get back into. There's been times where we've changed what we've done. So prime example would have been 2 years ago in that semi-final second leg. We were 4-0 down, Peterborough. Second leg was back at home, and we launched it. Like we had done that all season, but we put Callum Patterson right wing back. We went Lee Gregory, Michael Smith up front. Josh Windass played 10. I think we played a 5-3-2, but the wing back was Patterson on the right side. So it was like a front three of Patterson, Smith, Gregory, and Windass just trying to pick up settings and run beyond for flick-ons. We launched the ball for under 20 minutes, and like I said, we turned a 4-0 result around and won in penalties that night. So going against what we'd done all season, basically, we tried to play it for the back, build up, but we knew that night that probably wasn't going to get us the goals that we needed. So we just changed and lumped it and tried to play in their box for as long as we could and get into their box as quickly as we could, and it worked. So it's not to say that changing's a bad thing or going away from what you've been practicing and what the game plan is. Players are intelligent nowadays as well. There's like, I know the manager sets up a game plan, but there's leaders on the pitch who see things in the game that they know that is affecting the other team. So, for instance, if I see something on Saturday and I know that we're getting joy out of it, I'll pass that on to your players and we'll try and exploit that. And that might be something that we've not picked up in the analysis of watching that team. It might just be something that day that comes to light and you try and exploit it there. So
does that change the game plan, Baz, when that happens, mate? For you guys, does that kind of give you a bit of armour to go at them then, boy?
A wee bit, because then I'll say to the manager, we're getting joy here, and he'll be like, obviously he'll be watching the game and he'll be like, I go, but on you go, keep doing it. And then there'll be things that we're good at, but then we'll get exploited by the other team as well, and then you need to change there defensively. So it's like a game of chess. It's always changing throughout the game, especially nowadays with formations and teams. It's not just like 4-4-2 anymore. It's like there's teams changing formations. We play, if you watch us, we're a 5-2-3, but we go from a 5-2-3 to like a 4-2-3-1, and we fluctuate between 3 probably different formations in a game depending on high press, low, medium press, low press. So you'll think on paper, they're a 5-2, but we're not really. Like, we change 3 or 4 times in a game, just depending on if we've got the ball, if we've no got it, and how we're pressing for the front compared to how we press in a low block. It's different formations for that press. So it's always changing. So that's how you need intelligent players on the pitch as well as your manager.
It's quite a good point, JP, that Baz says there, because I've said to you plenty of times that obviously you've got to go with the manager's instructions, the game plan, you've got to try and take that on the field, what you do in training. But guys like McGregor and the manager can't do things on the park, you're on the park. So if you see something that you can change, if it's going to track a runner, if it's changed to offensive, defensive and transitions, and you go and do it. And I'm a big believer in as much as you can follow the manager's instructions, it's like Cal McGregor and Mora. If he sees something that the game plan's not working, he's on the park, like Baz says, he can go in and go, look, Gaffer, this isn't working, but I think this will work. The manager should then, if you think that's working, get joy out of it, then I think when you're on the park, you've got a more chance of changing it, because the manager's on the side of the park. He can put points to you, he can message, he can move things about, but he can't tackle, he can't run, he can't deal in the park. So that's how I'm a big believer what Baz says. I'm glad he said it, because I'm a big believer at JP that when you're on the park, you can change it. So if you see something like McGregor, right, this isn't working, but we're getting this joy, let's change it, see if it happens. If it works, brilliant, stick to it. Doesn't revert back to the game plan. And for me, JP, I think what Baz says is a brilliant insight, and it just shows you that people think some of these guys just go to Nando's and after football, it's just an easy lifestyle. It just shows you, mate, how hard they work at training. They all these formations, all these transitions of play, changing for this, changing that, changing that. It's not just football now, like Baz says, it's about thinking. You've got to think about moving here, doing this, and if this happens, how do I do this?
Yeah.
It's not just about turning up and training now. It's a brilliant insight, mate, and that's your interesting what Baz says there, mate. And I hope the viewers kind of like that, because it's given me an insight of something as well there. So just shows you, mate, it's fantastic IQ of football.
Yeah, I think Baz does that every time he's on. Aye.
See tomorrow, like, so Celtic will be analysing Leipzig and how they're going to press them. But Celtic could be watching Leipzig and think they're good at playing out for the back, so we can't really press them. But they're probably playing against teams in the Bundesliga who can't press the way we press. So that could change in the game tomorrow, where Kyogo goes, "Boof, I'm going for it." Maeda goes, they kick the ball out of play. And then the boys are like, we're pressing them because they're panicking.
Aye, we're going to get joy here. Aye.
And it could be as simple as surroundings, Parkhead, they get swallowed up with the atmosphere and they start doing things that you've not seen them doing in the analysis, because they're playing against teams at home, the atmosphere's not like that. They could come tomorrow and freeze in Parkhead and Celtic are sitting half. They're not going to freeze if you're sitting half and letting them have it nice and easy, Ozzy. If you jump on them and they start, I don't want this, the fans get up, then that changes, because you've probably not seen them playing in this environment and you've not seen them playing against this press. So it's like a boxing match. You'd probably take 5-10 minutes of doing things before you think, right, this is what we're going to do now for the rest of the game. It's a bit of a feeling out period, first 10-15, to see, I tell you what, we can't press them. They are actually beating our press quite easy, so we'll have to go into this medium block, or by the way, we can press these, we're getting the ball back. So it changes for the analysis, and that's how you need the leaders and intelligent players on the park, as well as obviously your manager, who is the leader, who sees it for the side. But sometimes seeing it for the side and actually feeling it when you're on there is different as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's a great insight for you guys, obviously, because not a lot of people would probably take that on board and really think about it like that. I'll just see 11 men going out to play football and setting up in a certain shape, and then, you know, nobody really pays attention to all the ins and outs. The guys that really know football and really understand the way teams are and how they play. Like I've said to you, Ryan, I think Baz is spot on. I'm going to be biased here, mate. I don't think there's a team that there's very little teams that press the speed that we can, you know, from mid to front and get the ball. We've done it in pre-season against teams like Man City, Chelsea, and we really got a lot of joy for it, mate. And I think we spooked even Atalanta. There was spells in the game, mate. We pressed them, and it was like, as if I wasn't expecting that. We were expecting to have more of the ball, and for us to have a few shots at their goal as well. I think, but obviously, as we saw Atalanta, the gaps that they leave in behind as well, and to do that against a team with the pace that we've got with guys like Maeda, Kuhn, even Kyogo when he comes on the pitch. Kyogo was involved a couple of moments. You know, there was a couple of moments in the game. He lobs the goalkeeper. He was unlucky. He just put too much on it. And who knows, in a different day, you're walking away with a 1-0 victory and you've defended for your dear life for the practically the full game. Thought the first half, we were probably more under the cosh in a sense that they broke through us a couple of times and Casper put off a really couple of good saves. Second half, I think I'm hard pushed just now to think of one clear-cut chance they had in front of our goal. A lot of their play was coming for the sides and into the box from a slight distance, which was getting ate alive with Scales and Austin Tuesday that night. So, but
I think if we defend well, then the attacking kind of sense takes care of itself, like you say, the press and the speed and the movement. And as long as we defend well, at the end, obviously, will trigger that. It'll trigger the press. And it's quite a good insight as well for Baz, what you're saying as well, because you see something like them kick the ball at the park, or maybe they're not comfortable in the ball and the pass is no crisp early on. The players will sense that. They'll go, right, go and get them. Go and get them. And it's one thing I think we've lacked there the last few years, not as much now, but especially the wingers at the club. James Forrest has been brilliant, but sometimes he doesn't, once he's beat his man, he doesn't always go and do it again. Palmer, they don't do it again. See, once you beat a man and maybe you get him booked, keep hitting. Don't stop. That's what frustrates me, and that's what I like about these two. They just go direct all the time. Old-fashioned wingers, just direct, and that's what we'll probably need to do tomorrow, because I think you will need to be a bit direct in terms of wing play. So I think that's a great insight as well. But spot on what Baz says in terms of if they do make a mistake, then you will maybe go away from the game plan. Right, they're dodgy here. Let's go for it and try and get a bit of joy out of it.
There's another question. He's obviously went off and thought of this before he left us. Kaiser, Baz, it does read pretty normal. It's no very big kind of fancy words that Bev was getting turned on by earlier on as he told us. But Kaiser's want to know, can I ask Baz in his honest opinion on Ida's hold-up play and how he thinks he will develop over time? Kaiser individually thinks he will be the green monster in about a year or two, the way he's going just now.
I think his hold-up play is good. Obviously, he's no set the world alight this season. He's been in and out the team as well. I know last season when he was on loan, he was in and out the team as well, and he was scoring goals. I think in Atlanta, he started the game off brilliantly. I thought he was brilliant first 20, 25 minutes. But then Celtic got deeper and deeper as the game went on. And it's hard to hold the ball up when you've got nobody in around you. He's fighting against two centre-backs with bodies 10, 15 yards away from him. So as the game wore on, it got harder and harder because they were getting tired. The balls into him weren't as good as they were in the first 10, 15 minutes. But I thought he started the game off brilliantly against Atlanta, i.e. holding it up, little chest layoffs or one-touch layoffs to Hatate a few times, running round the front of him. But then as the game wore on, you're probably looking and think, nah, he's struggling here. But I don't think it was down to him. I think the service as well wasn't as good. People getting tired and the bodies weren't around about him for him to lend it off first time. And the guy who was playing against that, he's a top centre half. He'll get a good move. So they've done him the world of good playing against people like that. He's still a young boy. And he's still quite inexperienced at that level. But I think in the Scottish League, we've seen last season what his hold-up play and how strong and how physical the big man is. He's a big, strong, physical guy with a lovely, lovely touch. But I think strikers need a good run of games, because you will start to see things like this where you think, he's not been as good this season, his hold-up play's not been great. That comes from match sharpness, and you only get that through playing games. It's hard because you've obviously got arguably the best striker in Scotland by a mile playing in front of you. So to get games week in, week out, it's not going to happen. So he will be judged on the minutes that he gets, and rightly so, because we paid a lot of money for him. But it's also hard on the flip side of, as a striker, you need a run of games to really get going. And I don't think he'll really get that, to be honest, because of who he's in competition with. But it's healthy, because you know that if you're not doing it, then you're not going to be playing, because Kyogo's there, and if Kyogo's not doing it, the big man will step in. So he'll get enough games, but I think I'm still confident that he'll score big goals this season for Celtic and play a big part in the season. Yeah,
Ryan, you know my thoughts, mate. I absolutely love him. He made a massive impression on me individually last season. I played similar to him. That was the kind of striker I was when I was younger. I know people maybe don't look at me and say, no, I don't see that in you now, JV, but believe me, I was that kind of striker. I tried to do my best and tried to make an impact where I could, and my attributes were big and physical and strong, and Had a small turn of speed. I wasn't lightning, but small. But I think Adam Ida is a massive player for Celtic. I think we've seen it already, lads. You look at last season, scoring at Ibrox for us, and they needed a last-minute World Day to get them a draw that day. You know, you look up in the Scottish Cup final, you know, nerves of steel just to sink that away, and but albeit with a winner, to secure a domestic double for us. For me, I said to you, Ryan, I didn't think there was anything Adam Ida needed to prove to the Celtic fans. I think if any Celtic fan now is still doubting Adam Ida, then I don't know what to say to you to try and turn your head, but you've just got to think what he's brought us. I mean, even the game at Murrayville there, you know, the Kyogo, as you said, Baz, wasn't a game from, you know, it just wasn't going his way. He comes off the bench and he scores. Ultimately, like his second touch of the game. So that's what Celtic have now, folks. That, you know, they've got that strength and depth coming off the bench to really, really push us on and hopefully help us win more titles.
It's a good dilemma to have, mate. But I still think Kyogo's. I think he's a well bit ahead of us personally. I know he's still a young guy and he's still got a lot to obviously grow and, like Baz says, to play the European games more, and he'll obviously you've got to get a similar when you're a young guy and you can't get a job. You need to get a job to get experience. It's the same with young players. They need to play football to get experience, and I know he's played at an international level, he's playing big games with Celtic, but I'm still, in terms of, because it's probably because of the price we pay for him. For me now, he's not a lone player. He's our player now, so I've not forgot about what he's done, but that's last season, and he's going to be judged on what he does this season, because I know the players won't think about the price tag and there's a manager, but sometimes for the money he's got to repay. So I know he will score goals, but I'm probably expecting a lot more goals, but because he's not playing every week, it's got back to do that. And like Baz says, if he's only going to get 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you might not get a touch with the ball. He might not get a touch with the ball and when he's on. So it just depends. And listen, I've been a sub sometimes myself. I know how hard it is to come into a game. It's very hard for a striker when the game's done or you're under the cosh to come in and to then get into the play. So you have got to cut him some slack in a way as well. When you're getting on, you only get 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Then you're maybe again, you're on the bench again the next game. It's hard to get in a flow. So that's obviously the manager to work that as well and rotate if possible. But scoring goals is going to be the best thing for him. Obviously, contributing will help, but if he scores goals, it'll give him the confidence. And I think he could play tomorrow. I didn't think about it personally until Baz mentioned it. I can see why he would play to give a bit more protection up front and hold the ball up, because the wee man, as much as I think he's a better striker, he's not got some attributes that he does got. So I think that's maybe the only choice I think he's got tomorrow. It's who he plays, and I think depending on who he plays will determine how Celtic are going to play the game.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know, Baz, to succeed at Celtic, you need to be contributing. At some, you know, if it's a winger, you need to be setting up goals or scoring goals. If it's a striker, you need to be scoring goals. If it's a defender, you need to be stopping goals and keeping clean sheets along with the goalkeeper. But it's just something that we've managed to. I mean, I think we've only lost 3 goals in the league so far this season. That itself is very, very impressive, mate.
No, they've been tight as anything at the back. They've been brilliant, and that's been an unsettled back four. Really, we've had Greg Taylor, who's played a lot of games at left back. Now we've got Alex Valle playing there. We've had the partnership. 2 centre backs been mixed up because we've had Carter Vickers and Scales has started the season. Then it was Trusty, Scales. Now we've got Carter Vickers and Trusty. Andy Ralston's played a few games when AJ's been injured. So that back four pairings changed quite a lot, but it just shows you that when a team's got a way of playing, there are obviously massive differences when the players come in, but there's a way of playing for that club, and it's installed in every single player. So you might see a difference, but not a massive difference, because they know what they're doing, and that shows with the back four and how many goals they've conceded this season. Barring Dortmund, they've been brilliant, whoever's been asked to come in and play. So I've been really pleased with that. But touching on the Ida and Kyogo thing, there'll be games that suit Adam Ida this season, and there'll be games that suit Kyogo, and that's why the manager get paid the big money to decide what them games are. You seen it last season where how many times have we been on this podcast and said Adam Ida should have started? Or how many times in the flip have you said Kyogo should have started today?
Yeah.
That's going to happen this season because Kyogo's going to be quiet, like for Park at the weekend. Wasn't it a
You
great
were all
game?
saying he's terrible and he does something amazing.
Was the great game for him?
No.
You probably look at that and say, you won't know that until that just goes by us watching the game and saying he shouldn't have played today. But going into the game, you're probably saying he should have. So that's why the manager gets paid the big bucks, because he'll be the one ultimately decides what one of them's going to play. I think, me personally, I think the Morris game's suited to Adam Ida. I love Kyogo. Kyogo's definitely Celtic's best striker, but like I said, games are made for different players, and I think the more listen, I'm not going to be angry if Kyogo starts, or because I love Kyogo, but me personally, if I was managing Celtic, the more I would start Adam Ida.
Amazing. And that's why I left the last words to yourself, Baz. Baz, it's been great having you back on, mate, getting your insights. I'm pretty sure most of the folks in the chat, the two commenters that left some questions for you, and the callers as well. Some great insights for yourself, mate, and another way for us to look at the game, I suppose, Ryan.
It's always, when you see it from a professional point of view, JP, it's totally different. Like I says, you can listen to fans and listen to me, you, Alan, you can listen to anybody. We're just fans. I know me and you have played the game and stuff, but we've not played to the level Baz played it. And when you played that game and you do it every day and you've done it for years, and it's a total different outset and insight for a player than it is from a fan. It's night and day. So, and it's totally different. So getting insights for Baz and guys at that level, mate, it's phenomenal.
Don't put yourself down too much, because when we go down to visit, Baz, we don't even get to sit with the ordinary people. You know what I mean? It's a great setup when we go down there. So let's don't get too carried away. Next minute, the seats will be the ones down in the corner. With
as a 40 mean, as a 40 mean the party official bench, but no, it's a total different insight.
See, there be two seats. It used to be the press seats at Hillsborough. You know what I mean? You're the next time with two bovrils and a hat and a pair of scarves, trying to keep us.
A pair of Timson's firmer grip, isn't it?
Aye, one of them ones, aye.
But no, I think it's a total different insight, JP, when you hear from somebody that's played at the highest level and playing in a game, because as fans, in a sense, we are just having an opinion. It's an opinion for us. We're no playing, so it's what we see through our eyes and what we gain through our knowledge. But when there's somebody who is playing the game and actually is telling you the facts of the game, then for me, it's a different insight, and it's in most cases it is a better listen than a fan talking, and it is somebody who's in the game. So it's a fantastic insight, and it does, like I say, any time Baz can go on, if it's about Hatate and other things you start, you go, all right, I don't think about that. For me, I'm thinking Kyogo starts all the time. But then you can see why he started in Atlanta, and you can then see why he could possibly start tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why we've got Baz on to give us kind of insights and set us up with them ones that we don't think of. But to everybody else that's tuned in tonight and the callers, thank you very much for taking the time with us on a Monday evening. I did say before on Friday, we will be on tomorrow morning between 10:30 and 11. Just keep an eye on the YouTube. It's YouTube only, folks, okay? Up with myself, my good man, Mr. William Glavin. We'll be getting a breakdown on the opposition for tomorrow night's game. We're going live as well, so that we don't need to do any fancy editing or anything, and that way it's out and you guys can get to watch it. Even for the ones that can't tune in, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see it before tomorrow night's game. But Baz, again to yourself, mate, thanks very much for taking the time with us, mate.
No, I've enjoyed it, lads. It's been too long, so hopefully I'll be on next week speaking about Adam Eder terrorising Leipzig's back four.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to second that, by the way, because I hope you're on next week talking about how he terrorised them as well. But obviously yourself, mate, good luck with the Norwich game.
Yep, good luck tomorrow, mate.
Thanks very much, lads. Cheers.
Let us know when we talk to you next. If you did see anything against Norwich, you were kind of giving the boys a thumbs up and that. And you were saying, right, this is how we're going to do this and we're going to punish them doing this.
You'll be watching for that now, won't you?
I'll be texting Ryan there. He's sent him a message here. Look, there's a wee
I
note.
might just do it for the sake of doing it so it gets you on your toes.
Do you see the highlights of Sky Sports News? Like that and
Baz, Barry Bannan's the on-field manager at Sheffield Wednesday now. Brilliant, man. Just tell Danny to get down the tunnel. He's double
knee-high boots.
He's double down in his knee-highs on eye. Get him sitting with the coaches. I'll do this. I'll take with this one, Danny. Don't you worry. But listen, take care. Hail. We'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers,
Guys.
JP.
See you
later.
later.